Rajiv. A global namaste to you, Rajiv Sabharwal. We have here.
Global namaste to you, and I'm delighted to be with you today, and thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so, and you're looking very smart, I have to say, and you're always looking smart anyway, but you're an accountant. Your background is in accountancy, right?
Absolutely, yes. I qualified as an accountant many, many years ago. Indeed.
Yes, we what you call it? We always find that the accountants are so particular. They normally have a pen on on the pocket. So anytime you're rushing around looking for a pen, they just take a pen and give it to you. They're so well organized, I have to say. I admire them for that. So Rajiv, today we're going to have a really good discussion about the work that you do. But before then, I just would like to just do a bit of an introduction and just let people know a little bit of your background so that people are aware about what kind of people come together into the Rotary Club and how many varied backgrounds and experiences and cultural backgrounds do we have within our group. It's amazing. So with our dear Rajiv, he's a highly motivated finance professional with a breadth of experience in property, consultancy, retailing, and accountancy management. Rajiv has created forward-thinking management systems which support business objectives and provide swift and accurate financial information. With extensive knowledge of financial control systems, he has the ability to manage their practical implementation. And Rajiv also possesses strong people management skills, which is very good, especially in our Rotary. We all love having wonderful communications there. And as an excellent and energetic communicator, I think he's been doing amazing work. I've seen him in action. He's a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, and currently works at Sutton's, based in Pall Mall, I should say, as a commercial chief executive officer, and providing accountancy and property related services, together with acquiring commercial properties with strong covenants, including retail, offices, and warehouses. Whoa, what an amazing background. So all finance, real estate, properties, etc. But look what he does on the other side. As an active member of the Rotary Club of London since 2015, he's currently on the board of trustees, helping in the management of the funds held by the Rotary Club of London. In addition, Rajiv is the foundation chair looking after the global scholars who come to study in London, and is also looking forward to continue in that role, contributing in his usual lively way. And today, Rajiv will be sharing about his Rotary work and involvement within the fields of global scholarship programs, global grants, and any kind of funding programs that he may want to share with us. So Rajiv, that was a really impressive background there. And no wonder they ask you to be a trustee and they ask you to look after this area, because you seem to be very good with your money management skills, right?
Well, absolutely. That is right. Absolutely. We have a committee who manage all the finances for the Rotary Club of London, and we actually employ an outside body to look after the funds for us. So it's not too onerous a task.
Oh, look at you. You're very modest. but definitely, but you've been an amazing mentor for many people who've been coming into the club and sharing your knowledge, guiding them, getting them into the right paths as well within the Rotary. So that kind of coming back to this wonderful scholarship program, and of course the work that you do. I had a few questions actually. I had just made a little list on, so I thought, let me see if I can perhaps ask these really interesting questions that I would love to find out more from you about. So I just first of all wanted to ask is, why did you join Rotary? Because this is a very intriguing question for everyone. Everybody seems to have a different story why they joined. So I would love to hear your background. How did you join Rotary?
I'd love to tell you about it. I'm basically a Rotarian because we are actually a global group of 1.4 like-minded people in over 200 countries. And we work together to improve the lives of people worldwide. Now, being a member allows me the gratifying opportunity to be able to give back to society. The motto, service above self, resonated with me, and that's the main reason why I joined Rotary.
Oh, wow. And I like that motto as well. There's a nice little motto there. which is great. It's a nice, yeah. And once you join, then you feel like staying, isn't it? Once you get kind of comfortable in a lovely place like that. But you know, you're also a chair. And you've been in different committees by the looks of it. But at the moment, you're the chair of the Rotary Foundation. So what do you exactly have to do within that committee? What's your role? What are your responsibilities as a chair of the Rotary Foundation?
Before I go into tell you about foundations, I just like to tell you a bit about Rotary itself, because if you are, which I am, a prestigious, well, a member of this prestigious club, we have the opportunity to hear from local, national, and international speakers as well. So we are in the unique position of being in this long-established Rotary Club, which established in 1911. And this attracts very prominent speakers. So I will tell you about an incident or a speaker that we came across who came to speak to us in time. But you ask about being chairperson of the foundation committee. My basic role is to look after the global scholars. Now, these are talented professionals who want to further their academics with a master's degree in London. My role is to make them feel at home by providing ongoing support throughout their stay and by inviting them to club events to broaden their horizons. So basically, if you were to go into a foreign land tomorrow, you need somebody there or a safe pair of hands to feel comfortable with, because even things like buying Oyster cards or how does one get from A to B or whatever small thing in life, it's different in a different country. And these people love that support, which we give them. Right. So what we normally do is I normally have them all on a WhatsApp group. So if you get into trouble at 1 o'clock in the morning somewhere, you know we're there to look after you.
Wow, isn't that really amazing? They're like little angels, you know, when somebody's looking after you all the way through. So just in case, you feel like your own family or your friends or close people are nearby who care for you. So you don't feel, because of course it could be quite, when you go to a new country, it must be very, very, especially for the people who are not so confident, the very shy ones. Yeah, it must be very, very unusual for them. So it's very nice, good work, very nice. And I love the WhatsApp, because what you're doing is using the latest technology to keep in touch. So just in case if they're stuck, you just send them a message right now and you receive it straight away, right?
And I'm also, the other job I do there is I'm also vice chair of the international committee. Now, this does projects overseas, and we normally join forces with other Rotary clubs around the world to respond to emergencies and support projects for fundraising. At the moment, you probably heard about the Beirut explosion. We sent 50,000 cans of milk to them. We're providing electricity to a remote village in Malawi at the moment. So these are our current projects.
Wow, such a range. I mean, I'm just really completely taken in by the fact that there is such a range, because it's like a non-ending list that they did this. And when I ask different Rotarians, they're all working on different projects. But if you put them all together, there'll be like reels and reels of all the work that's being done. It's amazing. You get more and more, I think, encouraged to be part of Rotary when you see how much work is being done within the organization. And of course, you mentioned as well about the Scholars Party as well. You mentioned as well that the Global Scholarship Program. What is that all about? I mean, how can people apply for the Global Scholarship Programs? Who can apply? And what is the process for them to? What do they have to go through?
So the Global Scholarship Program is a program run by Rotary clubs to invest in future leaders by funding scholarships for graduate study abroad. So these grants are provided if one meets the Rotary's 7 areas of focus. I think we've heard them all, but
please do share. Please do share. It'd be nice to. It'll be no problems. Please tell us.
It's promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, sanitation and hygiene, saving mothers and children, supporting education, and growing local economies, and lastly, protecting the environment. So if there is something that does one of these 7, if you go to your Rotary Club, they will sponsor you for a master's degree. As it happens, we in London do not do global scholarships for students because the cost is about $30,000 for somebody to spend a year overseas doing a master's degree.
Right.
What we do is accept these scholars from different countries, and I said earlier, we look after them while they're here. But there's no reason a time may come when the club decides to sponsor somebody who needs this sponsorship to study overseas for a year doing a master's degree.
Right. So just to get clear about this, so what happens is it's not the fees for the studies and the programs and for staying here, etc. It's not that funding that you're giving. What you're giving them is the funding, the time, the effort to give them advice, to give them mentoring, to give them the fact that we are there for them all the way through. That's what we are actually sponsoring. Is
Correct.
That right?
Just to give you some idea, we had in the last couple of years a gentleman called Brian. He was based in America. He came to London to study at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So he spent a year with us. We looked after him. He was truly a global scholar, very talented. And these guys, for example, this gentleman, he spent time in America. He spent time in France. He worked for the United Nations. He was a doctor by profession, and he came to London. But once he finished, Rotary did so much for him. It's unbelievable, because when he finished, he went back to California, where the governor of California got him involved with COVID response. So to get that job, it was only because of Rotary he got that particular job. Since then, he's moved on to Miami, where he's got a top job in a teaching hospital, once again, thanks to Rotary. So
wow.
Rotary does a lot for people, which behind the scenes, which one doesn't hear about.
Yes, and I think more people should hear about this because it inspires more people to do it, you see. So I think it's a fantastic work that you're doing. And you must have projects also lined up. Like, are there any applications, any scholars, or any kind of projects that you're currently, or campaigns that you're working on right now as part of the 2022? Or do you just wait for people to come to us? Or do you actually have a program of how many people you will take on board, etc.?
No, I'm sure you've heard about the projects I'm going to be talking about. The project that we're all involved in at the moment on the international side is this very ambitious project called the Indus Peace Park. And I haven't been here with you all day, but I'm sure a number of people, Tony Sharma, Mo Ayaz, they've all mentioned it. And it's really an exciting project, because this project hopefully will unite 1.4 billion people. Yes, honey, I mean 1.4 billion people. So in India and Pakistan. So
it's a lot of zeros. Yes.
We've had a number of high-profile meetings, and the governor of Punjab is progressing our application, and he thinks he's very confident that they will give us the 250 acres of land that we required of him to start building this peace park. And I'm sure Tony Sharma has mentioned to you, we intend to build schools, teaching hospitals, maternity facilities for women, and a lovely peace garden, amongst other things we haven't thought of.
Wow, everything sounds so good. And I also, yes, everything sounds, and I heard from Mohammed, who's sharing as well, that they're also bringing in the women empowerment side, that even some of the security people, you're not walking around and things like that, will be women as well. It doesn't, it's not like segregation, only you can do this. And they're empowering women to also be tough and look after the area. And of course, it's going to be a peace park, so I don't think there's going to be that much fighting. Hopefully, then we really need to think twice about what we're doing. Yeah, but it's amazing. It's really good, Rajiv, and good luck with that. That's a really, when projects come that really mean something, this one is one of those that really touches everybody's hearts. So it's great. Is this the land that you've just been able to get?
So we've requested 250 acres of land. But it hasn't been sort of given to us as yet. So we're not sure where it's going to be, because there's some debate on where this land may be. But it's hopefully with our patron, who's Lord Rami Ranger, who you know quite well.
Yes.
He's progressing this application with the governor of Punjab. So let's see.
Right.
But the other thing I want to tell you about is my passion, which I want to do this year. You mentioned what we're going to do this year, is an eye project, i.e. doing cataract operations for people in villages in India. It's, as you may know, if you have cataract in India, in a village, they put you in a corner and you're left there to rot.
Yes, yes,
So
it's terrible. Yes,
an operation for 25 odd pounds can restore the sight and make this person's life again. So you get a new lease of life with this operation. Now, how good is that?
It's brilliant. And if you can give somebody with the seeing, with vision, you've actually removed all the darkness from their lives, right? I mean, you've actually really given them light. Can you imagine, even if because I used to work with blind people and I used to try to learn the language and things. I've tried all sorts of different things that I've tried. So it's really tough. It's really difficult for them, so just by helping to, donate the cataract or eye hospital funds or whatever it requires, it's such a beautiful gift from every person who does that. It's really great. And I wanted to also ask you one last question here, Rajiv, because I think very shortly we're going to go into a little panel discussion, but just to ask if anybody was interested in applying for the scholarships, for the Rotary scholarships, do they have to become a Rotarian? Is there a process and a procedure, and what kind of people can apply for this kind of funding?
You need to apply to your Rotary club. You should be a graduate, and it's up to the Rotary club to sponsor you. So if they were to do a global grant, that means the club should collect about $15,000 for you, because as Ian has said earlier, Rotary International matches the other half or thereabouts. But the main thing is it's up to each individual club to sponsor a person if they think that person is worthwhile doing a scholarship. It's normally a master's course in a foreign land. So for us, it has to be obviously sending somebody overseas for a year. And that's what Rotary believe in. It's all about friendship and making contacts and developing a person. So that's their idea of an overseas scholarship.
So these are like criterias as well, like, oh, are they this, are they this? You kind of check that area. Then it's more likely.
Also, honey, they must meet one of the 7 areas of focus. So that's the important bit. Now, as I say, with doctors, it's quite easy to fit into one of the areas of focus. We normally have mainly doctors, but now last year we had 2 lawyers who were doing their masters in London too.
Right.
And they're progressing one of the 7 areas. So if they qualify in one of the 7 areas, then Rotary International put their bit of that half of the money they pledged towards the scholarship.
That's really amazing. I know this is something completely out of the thing, but you've got royal you've got royal blood, right? Your ancestors used to be kings, and you have to share a little bit about this with our audience, because it's amazing that you found out and you discovered that your generations went back to the kings and queens who used to rule India. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Such an interesting background of yours.
You're making me blush now, because I can be here for the next 4 hours and I can see Seema Bhatia in Hong Kong. It's about 3:30 Hong Kong time and she's still on. So I'm a bit confused what's going on.
Yes, they're going to be coming on right now, but you need to share that maybe a little bit at the end before we say bye-bye to you.
No, I can tell you now. I can tell you very quickly.
Sure.
Lord Porus, no, not Lord Porus, but King Porus.
Yes.
King Porus was a Sabharwal with my surname. And he was the guy or the person who defended Alexander the Great. So on the banks of the Indus, there was King Porus and Alexander the Great. And Alexander the Great was obviously wanting to invade, but he found that he couldn't cross the river. And there was a time, 2-3 months down the road, he did cross the river and he conquered King Porus. And basically anybody conquered by King Alexandra is killed. I mean, there's beheaded. But as regards King Porus, he said, well, he was called in front of him, and he said, "How would you like to be treated?" And he said, "As a king would like to treat a king," and he was forgiven. So
Because
it was one of those things. But the important
wow.
bit was we come from the same, we have the same surname. So there's 8 families who are descendants of King Porus, and they're called Cucranes. So they're all based in the Indus. So as Mo was saying earlier, we are affiliated to this Indus Peace Park project because we come from there. That
Ah,
was our homeland, and
right.
now
No
we're
wonder.
somewhere else.
Mo, what a wonderful thing.
I would go a stage further and say, pick up the phone and join us today.
Yes, no wasting time. We've got an accountant on our books right here, right? Absolutely. The people who join Rotary, they will definitely speak from their heart, saying that, look, you should join, because it is, everybody will say it's a fun thing to do. And Seema noticed that straight away. Lata also saw that straight away, because you feel the energy. And plus, we all like-minded people. The value system is similar. And that's why I think we all people who want to contribute. So it's a really great thing. So thank you, Rajiv, for your time. A global namaste to all of you. Thank you for all your contributions, sharing your knowledge, pearls of wisdom, etc.